The colony ship drifted through the cold dark of space. Its metal body groaned softly like an old creature breathing in its sleep. Inside, the human officer Daniel walked down the narrow corridor, his boots echoing on the steel floor. He had been told many things when he joined the alien crew. They had warned him about dangers outside the ship, pirates, black holes, radiation storms. But there was one warning that felt stranger than all the rest. The alien commander, a tall creature with silver eyes, had said, "When the season begins, stay inside. Lock your door. Do not answer. Do not listen." Daniel had laughed the first time. It sounded like a children's ghost story. But the commander's face had not changed. None of the aliens laughed. Days passed, and Daniel noticed a change in the crew. The aliens became restless. Their skin, which was usually pale and calm, shimmered with faint colors like shifting smoke. Their voices grew lower, almost like growls. They avoided looking directly at him. One alien even said quietly, almost like a whisper carried by accident, "The season has started." Daniel tried to ask what it meant, but no one explained. They only repeated the same advice. "Lock your E." Thugger. That night Daniel sat in his quarters. His room was small, only a bed, a desk, and the humming light above. He felt the silence pressing on him. The ship was never quiet. There were always footsteps, machines, voices. But now, it was as if the whole crew had gone into hiding. Then came the sound. It was faint at first, like a scratch. Metal against metal. A soft tapping, slow and careful. Daniel frowned and stood near the door. The sound stopped. He waited, but his heart beat faster. "Just my imagination," he whispered to himself. He sat back down, but then he heard it again. This time it was different. Not scratching, not tapping. It was a voice. "Daniel." He froze. His name. Someone had spoken his name. It was soft, gentle, almost like a human voice, a woman's voice. For a second, Daniel thought of his sister back on Earth. She used to call his name like that when she wanted him to listen. But his sister was light years away, and no human woman was on this ship. Daniel forced a laugh to steady himself. "This is a trick," he said out loud. But his voice sounded thin, weak. The voice came again, closer this time. "Daniel, open the door." He remembered the warning. "Lock your door. Do not answer." His door was closed, but he had not locked it. He had thought it was foolish. Why would he lock himself in like a prisoner? Now, sweat ran down his neck. He looked at the door panel. One button could lock it. Just one press. But something inside him hesitated. What if it really was nothing? What if it was just his mind playing tricks? What if the aliens were trying to scare him? Another sound came, a soft knock. 3 times. Knock, knock, knock. Daniel stood very still. He tried to breathe quietly, but the air felt heavy in his chest. The voice whispered again, sweeter this time, almost kind. "I am alone. I need help, please, Daniel." His hand hovered over the lock button. He should press it, he knew he should. But curiosity burned in him. Why did the voice sound so familiar? Why did it remind him of his sister? Slowly, without thinking, Daniel stepped closer to the door. He placed his ear against the cold metal. Silence. Then, another whisper, but this time right against the door, as if someone was standing inches away from him. "Daniel, I know you. I am your sister." His blood ran cold. His legs trembled. That voice was exactly like his sister's. The tone, the softness, the rhythm of the words. It could not be real. It was impossible. He backed away, shaking his head. "No, you're not real. This is a trick." But then, the door hissed. Slowly, without him touching the panel, the door began to slide open. The thin line of shadow widened. The lights in the corridor flickered. Cold air rushed into his room, and there she was. A figure, tall and graceful, stepped inside. She looked partly human, but not fully. Her eyes glowed faintly, like pale fire. Her skin shimmered in strange patterns flowing like liquid silver. Her hair was long and dark, moving as if touched by an invisible breeze. She smiled, though her smile carried something dangerous. "Daniel," she said softly. "You did not lock your door." Daniel could not move. He wanted to run, to scream, to call for help, but his body stayed frozen. The figure stepped closer, tilting her head, studying him like prey. "Good," she whispered, "because if you had locked it, I would have broken it anyway." The lights flickered again. Daniel's heartbeat thundered in his ears. The warning echoed in his mind over and over. When the season begins, stay inside. Lock your door. Do not answer. Do not listen. But it was too late. The door was open, and the alien sister had already found him. Daniel could not move. His whole body felt frozen as the strange figure stepped inside his room. The door closed behind her with a slow hiss, sealing the two of them together. She looked half human, half alien. Her face carried the softness of a woman, but her glowing silver eyes gave away something wild. Her hair was black and long, but it shifted like smoke, as though it belonged to a creature not fully made of flesh. Her skin glimmered, colors moving, under it like hidden fire. Daniel forced himself to speak. His throat was dry, but he managed a whisper. Who are you?" The woman tilted her head. For a moment she simply watched him as if his fear amused her. Then her lips curved into a strange smile. "I am Lyra," she said. Her voice was soft, calm, but it carried something sharp underneath, like a knife hidden inside silk. "Sister of the clan, sister of the season." Daniel stepped back. He could feel the edge of his bed behind his legs. His mind screamed at him to run, to shout, to fight, but his body refused to obey. "Why do you look human?" he asked, his voice trembling. Lyra's glowing eyes narrowed. "Because your mind wanted it so. My form bends where your thoughts bend. You thought of a sister. So here I stand." Daniel's stomach twisted. His chest tightened. So it was true. The voice outside the door had copied his sister on purpose. This creature was not her. It was never her. The alien woman moved closer. Every step was graceful, like a predator circling prey. She reached out her hand and Daniel flinched back, but she only touched the desk beside him. Her fingers were long, too long, with sharp black nails that scraped lightly against the surface. The sound made Daniel's skin crawl. "Do you know what night this is?" she asked softly. Daniel shook his head. Her smile widened, but her eyes burned brighter. "The season has begun. The season when instincts rise, when reason falls, when hunger takes control." She leaned closer until Daniel could feel her cold breath against his cheek. "You should have locked your door." Daniel's heart pounded, so hard it hurt. What do you want from me?" Lyra tilted her head again. For a long moment she said nothing. Then her expression shifted, as though she carried two faces at once, one gentle, one vicious. "I do not want to hurt you," she whispered, "but if you stay close, I may not be able to stop myself." Daniel stared at her. Her words were soft, but her body trembled like someone holding back a storm. He saw her skin shift colors again, pale blue, then dark crimson, then glowing, silver. Her nails dug into the metal desk, leaving scratches. Fear tightened inside him, but so did something else. Curiosity. "Why me?" he asked. "There are many others on this ship. Why come to me?" Lyra's smile faded. Her eyes locked onto his. "Because you are human." Daniel frowned. "So what?" Her voice lowered, almost like a growl. "Your kind is different. You are not ruled by the same instincts you resist. That makes you dangerous, and fascinating." The words hung in the air. Dangerous. Fascinating. Daniel felt like a mouse being studied by a cat, unsure if the cat wanted to play or to kill. He forced himself to move sideways, putting a small distance between them. "If I'm dangerous, maybe you should leave," he said, trying to sound strong. But his voice cracked, betraying his fear. Lyra did not leave. Instead, she stepped closer. Danger makes the season sharper, the hunt sweeter. Do you not understand, human? You are the only one who can stand before me and not fall at once. She leaned forward, her glowing eyes inches from his. That is why I chose your door. Daniel's breath caught. His whole body trembled. He wanted to escape, but something about her voice pulled at him like a thread wrapping tighter and tighter around his mind. For a moment, silence filled the room. The ship hummed faintly, but everything else seemed to disappear. Only Lyra's eyes, only her words, only the sharp promise of danger remained. Then a sound broke the stillness. Distant footsteps in the corridor. Heavy, quick, echoing closer. Lyra's expression changed. The sharpness in her eyes softened, replaced by a flicker of something else. Fear. She turned her head toward the door, her body tense like a cornered animal. Others are near, she whispered. They smell you. They will come. Daniel's heart sank. He had thought one visitor was bad enough. Now there were more. He looked at the door, then back at her. Then go, he whispered harshly. Leave before they see you here. But Lyra shook her head. Her long black hair shifted like shadows. No. If they find you alone, they will not stop. They will tear through this room until nothing of you remains. Daniel swallowed hard. His hands were shaking now. So what do I do? Lyra's silver eyes locked onto him again. Her voice dropped low, almost like a secret meant only for him. Stay with me. If I claim you, they will not touch you. But if you resist me, they will smell weakness and then... She did not finish. She didn't need to. Daniel's skin crawled at the thought. He looked into her glowing eyes, searching for any trace of mercy. Was she protecting him, or only marking him as her prey? The footsteps outside grew louder, closer. The corridor filled with shadows. Daniel stood frozen between two impossible choices: lock himself away and hope the others passed him by, or trust the alien sister who already stood in his room. Either way, his life was no longer his own. The footsteps outside faded into silence, but Daniel's heartbeat did not slow. He stood frozen in his room, trapped between fear and confusion. The alien woman, Lyra, remained close, her glowing eyes fixed on him. Her voice came soft, almost soothing, though her body trembled with hidden energy. You see now, she whispered. Others would have broken your door, they would have dragged you into the corridor, but I came first. Daniel's chest tightened. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Lyra stepped closer, circling him slowly. Each movement was smooth, almost too perfect, like a predator testing the space between them. Her skin shimmered faintly with shifting colors. Blue, red, silver, like fire under ice. Because I want to see if you are different, she said. Your kind resists. Your kind fights. That makes you dangerous. That makes you valuable. Her words sent a chill down Daniel's spine. He tried to back away, but the wall caught him. She leaned closer, her hair brushing his shoulder, her strange cold breath against his ear. Tell me, Daniel, she murmured. Are you strong enough to resist me? Daniel's hands shook. His mind screamed at him to push her away, to call for help, to run. But another part of him, the part that remembered how lonely deep space could be, hesitated. You should leave, he whispered, though his voice cracked. Lyra laughed softly, the sound low and unsettling. You do not want me to leave. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. For a moment, Daniel felt as though time itself slowed. Every breath, every heartbeat, every flicker of light in the room seemed tied to her presence. She moved even closer, and Daniel could feel her cold skin almost brushing against his arm. She tilted her head, studying him like a puzzle. Your body betrays you, she said softly. You say no, but your heart races. You want to know what happens next. Daniel clenched his fists, trying to hold his ground. I'm not afraid of you, he lied. Her smile grew wider. Then prove it. Suddenly she stepped back, her body trembling. Her eyes burned brighter, her skin flashing deep crimson before fading again. She looked like someone fighting herself, her instincts pressing against her control. Daniel saw her nails digging into her own palms, leaving faint trails of silver blood. She let out a low growl and turned away, her body shaking. "Adesant burns through me," she whispered. "Every part of me wants to take you, to pull you under, to break you. But I want to know if you are strong enough to stand." Daniel swallowed hard. His mouth was dry, but curiosity pushed him to ask, "And if I'm not?" She turned back slowly. Her smile was sharp, but her eyes held something sad. "Then you will not survive the night." The words hit him like a blade. 1,000 thoughts crashed inside his mind. He could lock her out. He could fight. He could try to escape. But part of him already knew. None of those choices would save him. Lyra stepped closer again, but this time her voice softened. "Do not fear me, human. If you let go of fear, you may endure. If you fight me with weakness, you will fall." Daniel's chest heaved with every breath. He wanted to believe her, but how could he trust someone who had tricked him with his sister's voice? He took a shaky step sideways toward the desk. His hand brushed against the panel where the emergency lock was. He thought about pressing it, sealing her out once and for all. But her glowing eyes caught his movement. She tilted her head, smiling. "Do it. Try to lock me out. See if your machine can stop me." Her words froze him. Something about her tone told him it wouldn't work. If he pressed that button, she would only become more dangerous. The ship groaned softly around them, the hum of engines filling the silence. Daniel's heart beat louder than the machine's. Finally, he forced himself to speak. "What do you want me to do?" Lyra's expression changed. Her body relaxed, though her glowing eyes stayed fixed on him. "Do nothing," she whispered. "Stay. Do not run, do not fight, just stay with me and let me see if you are what I think you are." Daniel felt his stomach twist. "And what do you think I am?" Her smile grew, sharp and strange. "A human who can resist the hunger of my kind." The room fell silent again. Lyra stood only a breath away, her presence pressing against him like a storm. Daniel's mind spun. If she was telling the truth, he had been chosen for something no human had ever faced. But if she was lying, then he was nothing more than prey waiting for the moment her hunger snapped. He looked at her trembling body, at the way her nails shook, at the fire flickering under her skin. He realized something then. She was fighting as hard as he was, and that fight might not last forever. Outside, faint sounds echoed again. Scratches, whispers, knocks on other doors. The season had begun for all of them. But inside Daniel's room, the real question was no longer whether the aliens would break in. It was whether Daniel would survive staying with the one who already had. Daniel sat on the edge of his bed, his hands clenched tight, his eyes locked on the strange figure before him. Lyra stood tall and silent, her glowing eyes watching every movement he made. The room was filled with tension, thick like smoke. The low hum of the ship felt distant, almost drowned out by the sound of his own heartbeat. Finally, Daniel broke the silence. His voice was steady, though inside he trembled. "Why me, Lyra? Why my door? Why my name?" Lyra tilted her head, her silver black hair sliding across her face like liquid shadow. For a long time, she did not answer. Then slowly, she stepped closer. "Because you are human," she said softly, her voice both calm and sharp. "And humans carry something my kind fears and desires." Daniel frowned. "What are you talking about? I'm just one man. There's nothing special about me." Lyra smiled faintly, though her smile carried no warmth. "That is what makes it special. You do not see it, yet it is inside you." She raised her hand and pressed her long, cold fingers against her chest. Right, above her heart. "My kind is bound by the season. When it comes, instinct devours reason. Hunger takes everything. We are slaves to it. No one escapes. Her eyes glowed brighter as she leaned closer to him. But humans, your kind resists. Even when fear tears through you, even when desire calls you, something in you fights. You have willpower, you have choice. Daniel's stomach twisted. He shook his head. That doesn't make sense. I'm not stronger than you. You could kill me in seconds, if you wanted. Lyra's lips curved into a sharper smile. Strength of body is nothing. Strength of the mind is everything. Her words chilled him. He thought about the warnings, about the commander's voice telling him never to open the door. Stay inside. Lock your door. Had they been afraid that he might resist when others would not? Lyra seemed to read his thoughts. Her eyes softened slightly, though her body still trembled as if holding back a storm. Do you know what happens when one of us chooses a human? Daniel swallowed hard. No. Her voice lowered, almost like a secret whispered in the dark. The human either breaks or he endures. If he breaks, his body burns, his mind shatters, he dies within hours. But if he endures, she paused, her glowing eyes staring deep into his. He changes. He becomes something more. The words sank into him like a stone into water. His pulse quickened. Changes? Into what? Lyra stepped closer again, so close he could see the strange patterns flickering under her skin. Into a bridge between our kinds, a human with the fire of choice and the hunger of my people. Rare, powerful, dangerous. Daniel shook his head, refusing to believe. You're lying. This is some trick to scare me. Lyra did not move. Her expression did not change. If I wished to scare you, Daniel, I would not need words. You feel the danger already. You feel it in your bones. Daniel tried to stand, but his knees were weak. He leaned against the wall, his breath uneven. So, I'm just an experiment to you? A test subject for your kind? For the first time, Lyra's eyes dimmed. Her smile faded, replaced by something colder. No, not for all, for me. Her voice trembled, though her face stayed calm. I broke the law of my clan. I came here to you. I should not have entered your door, but I wanted to see if the stories were true. I wanted to see if one human could resist the hunger. If you can, Daniel, then I will know there is hope. Daniel blinked, stunned. Hope? For what? Lyra's body shivered, her skin flashing faint crimson before calming again. Hope that we are not only slaves to the season. Hope that choice exists for us too. If you can resist me, then maybe one day my kind can resist ourselves. Her words shook Daniel more than the threat of death. He saw for a brief moment not just a predator before him, but a creature chained by her own nature, desperate for escape. But the thought did not calm him. It only made the situation heavier. He was not only fighting for his own survival now. Somehow, he had become part of her struggle, her rebellion against her kind's instincts. The room fell silent again, but outside, faint noises echoed. The scratching, the knocking, the whispers of other alien sisters searching in the corridors. Lyra turned toward the door, her body tense. They are restless. If they sense me here, too long they will come. And if they see you, they will not stop. You will not face one trial, but many. Daniel's throat tightened. Then what do we do? She looked back at him, her glowing eyes sharp again. We stay quiet. We stay close. And you trust me. Daniel hesitated, staring into those silver flames in her eyes. Trust her? She had lured him with his sister's voice. She had admitted she might kill him if he failed. And yet in her words he had heard something he could not deny. Truth. He nodded slowly, though his hands still trembled. If I trust you, how do I survive this? Her smile returned thin and sharp. By resisting me. By not giving in to fear. If you hold your mind, you live. If you let it go, you are already dead. Daniel's chest rose and fell with uneven breaths. His world had turned upside down in a single night. He was no longer just a human officer on a colony ship. He was the key to something bigger, an ancient hunger, a dangerous hope, and a secret that could change both their species. And the night was only beginning. The silence in Daniel's quarters did not last. It never did. The ship moaned with strange sounds as if the metal itself felt the season creeping inside it. Outside the door, faint scratching grew louder. Whispers slipped through the walls like smoke. But inside, Daniel's danger was standing, right in front of him. Lyra's body trembled. Her skin shimmered violently, flashing through colors too fast to follow. Deep red, sickly green, blinding silver. Her breathing grew harsh, uneven, almost like a growl. Daniel noticed her long nails, dragging across the metal desk. Sparks scratched as they carved faint lines into the steel. He had seen her in control before, calm, careful, mysterious. But now her restraint was breaking. "Lyra," he whispered, his throat dry. "What's happening to you?" She turned her glowing eyes toward him. For a moment her face looked human again, soft, almost gentle. Then her lips pulled back, revealing sharp, dark teeth. "The hunger is stronger," she said, her voice trembling. "Every second I fight it, it claws deeper inside me." Daniel stepped back, his heart pounding. "Can you control it?" Her smile twisted. "No, but maybe you can." Before Daniel could move, Lyra's body blurred. One moment she stood across the room. The next, she was inches away. Her speed was inhuman. He stumbled backward, slamming into the wall, her hand shot, out, nails grazing the wall beside his head. She trapped him there, her face close enough that he could see the flicker of silver veins under her skin. "Do you trust me, human?" she whispered. Daniel's chest heaved. He could barely think. I don't know." Her laugh was soft, broken, almost sad. "Good. Doubt keeps you alive." Then she lunged. Daniel ducked instinctively, rolling across the floor. Her nails sliced the air where his head had been a second before. Sparks flew as she scraped the wall instead. He scrambled to his feet, heart hammering in his chest. Lyra turned slowly, her movements sharp and jerky now, like a predator caught between hunger and hesitation. Her glowing eyes burned brighter and her breath came fast. "Run," she whispered. "If you are as strong as I believe, you will survive me. If not, your story ends tonight." Daniel didn't need to be told twice. He bolted toward the far side of the quarters. The room wasn't large, but he used every inch, ducking behind the bed, sliding around the desk. Lyra moved like a shadow, graceful yet terrifying. Every step echoed like a blade against stone. She didn't charge. She stalked. Slowly, patiently, she circled, forcing him into smaller and smaller spaces. Daniel's breath came in sharp bursts. His body screamed for escape, but the door was blocked by her. He was trapped. He grabbed a metal chair and swung it toward her, desperate. The chair struck her shoulder, but she barely flinched. Her body bent unnaturally, absorbing the hit like it was nothing. Then she hissed, her smile returning sharper than ever. "Yes," she purred. "Fight me. Resist me. Show me the strength. Your kind hides." Daniel threw the chair aside and grabbed the only other object near him, a plasma lamp from the desk. He ripped it free and held it between them like a weapon. The faint glow painted the room in eerie shadows. Lyra's glowing eyes fixed on it. She tilted her head, amused. "You think that light will save you?" Daniel tightened his grip. "Maybe it won't. But I'll use whatever I can." For a moment, silence filled the room again. Then, in a blur, Lyra dashed forward. Daniel swung, the lamp wildly. It cracked against her arm with a sharp spark. She hissed, stumbling back for the first time. Her skin burned faintly where the light touched, silver smoke rising from the mark. Daniel's eyes widened. She wasn't invincible. Lyra stared at the wound, then at him. Her trembling grew worse. Her voice was low, shaking between anger and admiration. "Good! Good! You resist, you hurt me, yet you still stand. Daniel's breath was ragged. Sweat dripped down his face. If I can hurt you, I can stop you. Her smile curved again, sharper than ever. No, human. If you can hurt me, it means you are ready. Ready for the choice that waits. She lunged again, faster than before. Daniel tried to swing the lamp, but this time she knocked it from his hands. It clattered across the floor, sparks dying out. She pinned him against the bed, her nails pressing lightly against his throat. Not cutting, not yet. Just resting there like the promise of death. Her voice came as a whisper. Do you see now? The season does not want me to let you live, my body wants to break you. But if you resist me, if you trust me, then perhaps we both survive. Daniel swallowed hard, his mind racing. The weight of her body pressed him down, her glowing eyes burning into his. The whispers outside the door grew louder. More sisters. More hunger. Lyra leaned closer, her lips near his ear. Choose, Daniel. Fight me until one of us dies, or stay and let me claim you before the others arrive. Daniel's body trembled, his fists clenched. His breath came sharp and fast. He was cornered, trapped, hunted in his own room. And for the first time he realized, this was no longer about escape. This was about survival. Daniel's back pressed against the bed, Lyra's nails resting like cold blades at his throat. Her glowing eyes burned into him, not just with hunger, but with something else, something conflicted. The hum of the ship faded behind the pounding of his heartbeat. Outside the door, whispers and claws dragged across the metal. Other sisters were close. He tried to steady his breath. If I trust you, and how do I know you won't kill me? Lyra tilted her head, her hair brushing his cheek like smoke. Her lips curved into the faintest smile, sharp and fragile all at once. You don't. That is the choice. Her nails pressed just enough to prick his skin. Not a cut, just a warning. Daniel swallowed hard. Sweat slid down his temples. His body screamed to fight, to push her off, to grab the emergency knife. He knew it was hidden under his bed, but his mind wavered. Every moment with her had been a game between fear and curiosity. She was dangerous, yet she hadn't killed him. She had held back when she could have ended him. That hesitation spoke louder than her threats. Still, the danger was real. Her whole body trembled, fighting against instincts she could barely control. Her voice dropped to a whisper, urgent and unsteady. If you raise your hand against me, the season will take me. I will tear you apart before you strike twice. But if you let go, if you stand still and face me, I will fight the hunger for you. Daniel's heart pounded. And if you fail? Her eyes burned brighter. Then we both die. The words chilled him. He thought of Earth, of his sister's laugh, of the long journey that had brought him here. Was this how it ended? Cornered in a room, forced to gamble his life on trust? The scratching outside grew louder. Knocks rattled against the door. Whispers hissed his name. Daniel. Daniel. Open. Lyra's eyes flickered to the sound, then back to him. Her voice was sharp now. Decide. If they break through, there is no time left. Daniel's chest rose and fell with heavy breaths. He closed his eyes, his mind screaming with two voices. One voice told him to fight, to grab the knife, to strike first. The other whispered that maybe, just maybe, Lyra was telling the truth. His fists clenched, but slowly he let them loosen. His shoulders dropped. He opened his eyes and met hers. I won't fight you. Her body froze. For a moment, the glow in her eyes dimmed, as if she hadn't expected him to say it. Daniel swallowed hard, his voice shaking. I trust you. The words hung heavy in the air. Lyra's nails retracted slowly from his throat. Her trembling grew. Worse, her skin flashing between silver and crimson. She closed her eyes, fighting something deep inside. Her body leaned forward, pressing against him as if the instinct demanded she bite, break, consume. but she stopped. Her breathing was sharp, ragged, almost painful. She dug her claws into the metal bed frame instead of his skin, carving deep scars into the steel. Sparks flew, but Daniel didn't move. Finally, she pulled back. Her glowing eyes opened again, softer now, though the hunger still burned behind them. "You chose," she whispered, "and because you did, I can still choose too." Daniel's chest ached with relief, but the danger wasn't gone. The scratching outside had turned into pounding. The door shook as claws raked across it. Shadows flickered beneath the seam. The corridor outside Daniel's quarters had fallen silent, but the silence was not peace. It was the silence of predators waiting in the dark. Daniel sat on the edge of his bed, his body trembling with exhaustion. Lyra stood before him, tall and still, her glowing eyes fixed on the door. The mark she had placed on him still burned faintly beneath his skin. His chest felt heavier, his thoughts sharper. Whatever she had done, it had changed him. He rubbed his wrist nervously. "They won't come back, right?" Lyra didn't turn to him. Her voice was steady but low. "Not tonight. But the season is not over. The others will not stop. They will wait, watching. If they sense weakness, they will strike." Daniel's stomach sank. He thought he had survived the worst, but her words told him otherwise. This wasn't finished. He stood and faced her, his voice shaky but firm. "Then what do we do?" Lyra finally turned. Her expression was unreadable, caught between strength and sorrow. "We endure, together, until the season ends." Daniel frowned. "And if we don't?" Her lips curved into a faint, dangerous smile. "Then no one leaves this ship alive." Before he could ask what she meant, the lights in the corridor flickered. The door shook violently. The silence shattered into chaos, pounding fists, claws scraping metal, voices screaming his name in dozens of tones. "Daniel! Daniel! Open! Open!" His blood froze. The voices weren't just alien now. Some were human. Some sounded like his sister, some like old friends. The sound twisted in his mind, pulling at his memories. He pressed his hands over his ears, shaking his head. "No, no, they're not real." Lyra stepped closer, her voice cutting through the noise. "Do not listen. They will try to break you. If you open the door, you are already dead." The pounding grew worse, denting the door inward. Shadows crawled under the seam, claws reaching through. One sharp nail grazed the floor of his room. Daniel backed away, his chest tight with panic. "They're going to break in." Lyra's glowing eyes burned brighter, and for the first time Daniel saw true fear in them. But behind the fear was something else, determination. She turned to him. "If they break in, I cannot protect you alone. You must fight with me." Daniel blinked. "Fight? With what?" "I can't fight them." Before he could finish, Lyra grabbed his arm. Her cold hand pressed against his skin, and once again warmth surged through him. This time, it was stronger, like fire pouring through his veins. His breath caught as his vision sharpened. The ship's hum grew louder. Even the pounding outside seemed slower, clearer. Lyra's voice filled his head, though her lips didn't move. "The mark binds us. My strength flows into you now. You are not only human anymore." Daniel gasped, staring at his hands. They trembled with strange energy, faint silver light flickering beneath his skin. I can feel it," he whispered. The door jolted again, nearly splitting apart. Lyra turned to him, her silver hair swirling as if alive. "This is the last moment, Daniel. Stand with me or die with them." The door burst open. A flood of shadows spilled into the room, twisted. Figures with glowing eyes and shifting skin. They hissed and screamed, voices layered like a storm. Their nails slashed at the air, their hunger thick enough to choke. Daniel's instincts screamed at him to run, but his body moved differently now. Energy surged through him, guiding his hands, sharpening his reflexes. When one of the creatures lunged, he raised his arm. Silver light burst from his skin, blasting the figure back into the corridor. He froze, shocked at his own power. Lyra's voice rang out, sharp and commanding. Do not fear it. Use it. More sisters poured into the room, circling them. Lyra moved with terrifying grace, her claws slashing, her body a blur. Daniel fought beside her, clumsy at first, then faster as the strange energy guided him. His strikes were not perfect, but they burned, and each alien that touched him recoiled as if struck by fire. The room shook with the chaos of the fight, screams, sparks, the clash of claws against steel. But slowly, the tide shifted. The sisters, furious and restless, began to hesitate. They hissed and screeched, but the silver glow in Daniel's body kept them at bay. Finally, the last of them pulled back into the corridor, snarling. Their whispers turned to curses, then to silence. One by one, they vanished into the shadows. Daniel stood panting, his chest burning, his body trembling with exhaustion. The silver glow in his skin dimmed, fading into nothing. He collapsed against the wall, his breath ragged. Lyra stood above him, her body shaking, blood, silver and bright, running down her arm. She looked at him, her glowing eyes softer now. You see, human? She whispered. You did not break. You endured. And because of that, we survived. Daniel stared at her, his voice barely a whisper. What did you do to me? Her smile was faint, almost sorrowful. I made you more than human. Now you are marked. Now you carry both our strengths. He tried to speak, but before he could, the lights flickered again. The ship groaned. Far away, deeper in the corridors, more screams echoed. Lyra's smile faded. She looked toward the sound, then back at him. The season is not over. Tonight we survived. But tomorrow, the hunt begins again. Daniel's stomach twisted. He thought the nightmare was finished, but he realized now it was only the beginning. The final shot. Daniel and Lyra standing side by side in the ruined room, shadows crawling toward them from the endless corridor. His skin faintly glowing, hers burning brighter, two predators facing the storm together. And outside in the dark, dozens of alien sisters whispered his name.